want us to get in there?
No. This needs to happen.
The story of Yellowstone. 4 Sixes begins with the legacy of a ranch as legendary as the tales spun about it. The 4 Sixes Ranch, or the 6666, is not just another piece of land. No, this place is a fortress of tradition. A land where cowboying, as Rip Wheeler once said, was practically invented. Seated deep in the heart of Texas, it's a world far removed from the blossoming landscapes of Montana's Yellowstone Dutton Ranch. Yet it is a part of the same universe. A place where grit and history intertwine in a way that shapes every person who walks its vast fields. Jimmy Herdstrom, the bumbling ranch hand turned cowboy in training, first brought the 4 Sixes into Yellowstone's orbit. John Dutton had sent him there, not out of punishment, but out of belief. Jimmy needed a second chance. A place to learn what it truly meant to be a cowboy. And where better than the 4 Sixes? Jimmy arrived at the ranch as a lost soul, unsure of his place in the world. But when he returned to the Dutton Ranch in the Season 4 finale, he was a new man. That transformation, born from the hard lessons learned under the scorching Texas sun, offered a tantalizing glimpse into the ranch's mystique. Here is everything we know about Yellowstone 4 Sixes. The 4 Sixes is not just a place where cowboys work, it is where they are forged. This ranch, stretching across an entire county, operates as it did 2 centuries ago. According to Paramount Plus, a press release described it as a land where the rule of law and the laws of nature merge in a place where the most dangerous thing one does is the next thing. The ranch's reputation is unmatched. Its mission is simple yet unyielding: to raise the finest horses and livestock in the world. The process is brutal, the stakes high, and the standards uncompromising. And it is here that Sheridan plans to tell a new story in his Western saga. But the road to Yellowstone, 4 Sixes, hasn't been straightforward. The spinoff was first announced in February 2021, with promises of expanding the Yellowstone universe beyond the Dutton family's Montana empire. Fans were excited. After all, the 4 Sixes Ranch had already captured their imaginations. However, as time passed, updates became scarce. Projects like 1883, 1923, and even non-Yellowstone series like Tulsa King and Landman seemed to dominate Taylor Sheridan's time and energy. By late 2024, the silence surrounding Yellowstone 4 Sixes had grown deafening. Executive producer Christina Voros, a key figure in the Yellowstone franchise, finally addressed the spin-off status. Her words didn't inspire confidence. "I honestly don't know how Taylor chooses to tell which stories he chooses to tell when," she admitted. Voros acknowledged that work on the spin-off wasn't actively happening, at least not in any obvious way. Fans hoping for imminent news were left in limbo, wondering if 4 Sixes had been sidelined permanently. The uncertainty was only heightened by news of another Yellowstone spin-off. This time, the focus would be on Beth Dutton and Rip Wheeler, 2 of the franchise's most iconic characters. The announcement suggested that Sheridan might be prioritizing a direct continuation of Yellowstone rather than exploring new terrain. Still, Voros hinted that the 4 Sixes story might not be entirely abandoned. "I think he has closed a lot of doors on Yellowstone this season. There are obviously characters that we will not see again because they have been dispatched. But I think he has left some doors open, and there's some doors that I can't tell if they're locked or not yet." Even with its uncertain status, the 4 Sixes Ranch looms large in Sheridan's universe. If the series does come to fruition, it could take several paths. The spin-off could remain rooted in the present day, exploring the lives of the ranchers, wranglers, and workers who call the 4 Sixes home. Or it could journey back in time, weaving tales of the ranch's early days when Comanches still ruled West Texas. Such a historical angle would align perfectly with Sheridan's penchant for grounding his stories in the broader history of the American West. And what a history it would be. The 4 Sixes Ranch is not just a fictional creation. It's a real place with a legacy that dates back to the late 19th century. It's a working ranch, renowned for its commitment to excellence in breeding world-class horses and cattle. It's a place where tradition reigns supreme, and every day is a test of endurance and skill. Whether set in the present or the past, a series centered on this iconic ranch would delve into the merciless endeavor of maintaining such a legacy Sheridan himself now owns, having purchased the ranch in 2021. Yellowstone. 4 Sixes plot details. Specific details about the plot of Yellowstone. 4 Sixes remain under wraps. However, Paramount Plus provided a brief description in a 2021 press release. Founded when Comanches still ruled West Texas, No ranch in America is more steeped in the history of the West than the Four Sixes. Still operating as it did 2 centuries before, and encompassing an entire county, the Four Sixes is where the rule of law and the laws of nature merge, in a place where the most dangerous thing one does is the next thing. The Four Sixes is synonymous with the merciless endeavor to raise the finest horses and livestock in the world, and ultimately where world-class cowboys are born and made. This synopsis hints at a rich historical and cultural backdrop for the series. Whether the story unfolds in the present day or takes a historical angle, fans can expect Sheridan's signature blend of gritty storytelling and authentic Western themes. If the spin-off explores the 1800s, it could intersect with characters from 1883. The Four Sixes Ranch was founded during a time when Comanches ruled West Texas, providing fertile ground for storylines involving military veterans, cowboys, and settlers. Incorporating characters from 1883 could further connect the series to the broader Yellowstone universe. Who might star in Yellowstone? Four Sixes. Though casting announcements have not been made, speculation about the potential stars of Yellowstone, Four Sixes, is already generating buzz. 2 familiar faces from the Yellowstone universe, Jimmy Herdstrom, played by Jefferson White, and Walker, portrayed by Ryan Bingham, are rumored to be heading south to Texas. Jimmy's connection to the Four Sixes Ranch was established in Yellowstone when John Dutton sent him there to become a true cowboy. After his transformative experience, it's easy to imagine Jimmy returning to Texas to build a new life at the Four Sixes. His character arc has always been one of strong will and growth, making the ranch a fitting setting for his continued evolution. Walker, the wandering musician and reluctant ranch hand, could also find his way to the Four Sixes. Since his arrival at the Yellowstone Ranch, Walker has struggled to fit in. His distaste for the Duttons' brand of justice and his free-spirited nature suggest that he might seek a fresh start in Texas. But they might not be the only ones connected to Yellowstone making an appearance. An intriguing hint came from Kelly Riley, who plays the fiery Beth Dutton, in a cryptic Instagram post, and that led fans to speculate whether Beth might make a trip to the Four Sixes Ranch. While it seems unlikely that Beth would permanently relocate to Texas, the idea of her and Rip Wheeler, Cole Hauser, visiting for a honeymoon or other storyline adds an element of intrigue. Whether or not the Duttons become directly involved with the Four Sixes Ranch remains to be seen. However, the possibility of crossovers between the two worlds ensures that Yellowstone, Four Sixes could maintain strong ties to its parent series while charting its own course. The real-life history of the Four Sixes Ranch. The story of the Four Sixes Ranch stretches back over a century, rooted in the story of its founder, Samuel Burke Burnett. Established in 1900, the ranch has become one of the most iconic symbols of Texas ranching. A popular myth claims that Burnett won the ranch in a card game with a hand of 4 sixes, but the truth is equally fascinating. The name actually comes from the 100 head of cattle Burnett purchased in 1870, all branded with the distinctive 4 sixes. This marked the beginning of what would become a booming empire dedicated to superior livestock and equine breeding. In the years following the Civil War, Burnett capitalized on the opportunities presented by the untamed West. His efforts laid the foundation for a ranch that became synonymous with excellence, known for producing some of the best workhorses, racehorses, and Angus cattle in the world. The ranch remained in the Burnett family for over 150 years, passed down through generations. It was managed as part of a trust until the death of Samuel Burnett's great-granddaughter, Anne Winfor Marion, in 2020. Following her passing, the ranch was put up for sale with a staggering asking price of $341 million. Taylor Sheridan, creator of Yellowstone and its spin-offs. Sheridan, a proud Texan and champion of Western heritage, led a group that signed a contract to purchase the ranch in December 2020. The deal, finalized in March 2022, marked the first time the Four Sixes had been sold in over a century and a half. The legacy of the Four Sixes Ranch and Miss Marion's vision for the ranch are vital not only to the ranch itself, but the rich heritage of ranching in Texas, Sheridan told the Texas Spur. The ranch is more than just a property. It is a cornerstone of Sheridan's creative vision. By acquiring the Four Sixes, Sheridan not only preserved its legacy, but also ensured its place as a central piece of his Yellowstone universe. The purchase appears to have been made with Yellowstone, Four Sixes in mind, further blending the lines between the fictional ranch and its real-life counterpart.